Welcome back. This is Mike with Red Book Quants. It's January 19th, 2023. It's time for market update. Let's do it. So we've got Bitcoin in a corrective phase now, officially, and we're kind of hanging on a thread because I expected it to come down to 42K, and the last line in the sand for me is really 41,000. We already touched it, breached below it. It's kind of hanging here, but I don't like the price action because we're seeing these lower lows and lower highs. See that? That's an old pattern, very basic charting pattern, still holds true today on any chart. Here we see the opposite. See that? We have higher highs and higher lows, higher lows and higher highs. And that's usually how it builds up. And then here, the dynamics change rapidly. So interesting. I don't like it very much. This is basically here the line, the line of scrimmage. And I wouldn't call this down here the end zone, but definitely the 10-yard line at least, because 38K is definitely in the cards if we don't hold this. And we have to hold it now. I'm not talking about by Sunday or Monday. A little bit more time down here, and this sucker is going to slide down. Okay, so if you're setting stops, 41K is a good stop to, because it touched you already. This is a good stop to set right now, and then wait for it to, because it really tested it out. They're really shaking out a lot of weak hands here, and from here on, the slide will be quick. That's the way I look at it, okay? Next, Ethereum, which is a little bit surprising, actually. Okay, so Ethereum here, quite stronger, actually. A little bit surprising, and it ties into something I want to show in a second, actually. So we're going to take a look at that in a few minutes. But first, let me move my mug here. All right, let's go to total 2. All right, which is basically everything except Bitcoin. And yeah, actually quite strong, right? Very surprising. Let's look at only everything. I mean everything but Ethereum, Bitcoin. A little bit weaker, but still stronger than Bitcoin. So what's going on here? Who knows? I think, in my mind, theory, there was so much hype that was flowing into Bitcoin, the whole ETF approval by the SEC, and I think a lot of people have been taking profits. That's quite normal. You remember last time, last week's market update, when I spoke about buy the rumor, sell the news. It's an old adage, it's an old expression among traders, and it's fairly normal to see that. But at some point, we have to see support kick in and buying interest to show up. And so far, it's been really tepid, right? So that is my old path I drew in March. It's still here. See how far it goes. I think I can probably delete it by now. But I think I got what I wanted. That's good. But again, this could happen very quickly here because it's retested it, and I don't see real strong buying interest. And this is some technical failure right here. Shouldn't have happened. This is really the last chance to hold this. And we might, it's looking weak, to be honest. I think we might see a slide over the weekend. I'm not sure what Gravitas would do in this case. It's pretty resilient. Gravitas, our trend system for Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's pretty resilient when it comes to these momentary shakeouts, but if we continue the slow motion retracement lower, it probably will take exit and might actually go short. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's where we are on that end. I wanted to mention this as well, which is the altcoin engine I've been running on. Well, it's been running on cryptanalysis for the longest time. It's not trading it right now. It hasn't been trading altcoins for a very long time, actually since, I think late 2021. We haven't been in altcoin mode for obvious reasons, right? And as you recall, this performance graph is produced by the top 5 coins that the engine identifies across the entire marketplace. It scans out all across Kraken. I don't go across different exchanges. I used to, but for now I just stick with Kraken because I think it's good enough, and also allows US traders to trade them. Now, when it trades these top 5 coins, it records the performance. And you can see, well, it hasn't been performing. And that means that the entire crypto market, and I already demonstrated that in a previous video, that the entire crypto market, the entire altcoin market especially, has been tightly correlated. And especially on the way down, everything was just going down. So if the top 5 coins are not performing, then, well, the getting isn't very good. So we're not trading altcoins, okay? It's a waste of time. So here we are trading this, not trading this, and you can see how clean it actually traces it down. This is an EMA. I changed it to an EMA 21. You usually, well, previously it used to be an 8. I thought it was a little bit fast. I wanted to give it a little bit more time. And I really like the way this looks like now. I have changed the rule set to the following. So the performance has to climb above the EMA and stay there for 4 periods, right? Which means 4 weeks, 1 month. And if it remains above it, then the following week we are in altcoin mode. So based on what we're seeing right here, on the new, per the new rule set, we would actually be in altcoin mode. And what's also very interesting is if you see right here, the last week we actually made money, which is interesting given that Bitcoin didn't, right? Bitcoin, if you switch here to a weekly view, see that? Quite a correction. But altcoins are actually performing. And that kind of ties in what we saw on Total 3 and also on Total 2. And on Ethereum, of course. It's strengthening there, and probably due to all the hype that kind of come out of the market now, and people are taking profits, so there's a pullback. I do like what I see here in terms of the strength I see on Ethereum. Right, I would be more concerned. Ethereum USD. I like the strength. Oh, interesting on a weekly, right? Looks actually quite strong. It's nice to look at different time frames once in a second. Once in a while, it gives you more clarity, right? But this is quite strong, and you don't usually see this much strength in altcoins and also in Ethereum if you have a large-scale correction coming, right? So I can't promise that Bitcoin is going to hold here. I think we have a good chance. Maybe this is just really a shakeout, for the weekends. But if you're a trader and you really, you're watching this, this is not a bad stop. Maybe a little bit below 41K. I never set stops to round numbers because they usually get touched. So maybe a few $100 below it. That's what I would do. I'm just telling you that if it breaches through that, especially if it breaches through, that's hard to say, if it breaches through 40,000, we're sliding down to 38,000, actually fairly quickly, I'm pretty sure. So be prepared for that, okay? All right, so that's all I got for today. I will tell you a little bit more about this and how it's going to get implemented into the new cryptanaissance fairly soon. I'm really excited about it because it was really the one piece that was really missing in my opinion. A good altcoin engine. Well, the altcoin engine worked very well, but basically a criteria that allowed us to decide when is the best time to trade altcoins. And just going directly by altcoin performance without any other abstractions is the preferred way to go. It's what trend traders do all the time. And I think it came out very well. I feel very comfortable with this because I've spent a lot of time on this. Okay, I've spent a lot of time watching this, going through various concepts and ideas and rule sets in order to assess it. Even when you see, like, for instance, this type of what we call a false positive, right, where we supposedly go into altcoin mode very briefly, right, for 1 week, lose a little bit of money. Well, we actually didn't because Bitcoin and Ethereum weren't long. So this rule set doesn't even apply. It doesn't even come in because the first criteria is Bitcoin and Ethereum both have to be long. Otherwise, we're not even going to think about trading altcoins, right? So right now, theoretically, we're in Bitcoin mode, and it's making money, actually. It's cool. And see what happens. It's still early in the game. We're still early in the market. I'm really looking forward to seeing Bitcoin back at, maybe at 50,000 above, and then see this take off because it will. But it's so interesting how quickly it switches. See that? There's a complete sea change here. It goes from winter into summer right away, right? There's no much in between, right? There's no interlude. There's no spring or fall. It's like up here too, before it fell over, it just boom, directly fell into a bear market. And here, same thing, it just switches over. So altcoins, they're really binary in that respect. They're either shit all across or they start taking off like this. So part of the game, I guess. All right, that's all I got for today. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.